Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is 2023 Lesson 6C, Wide Receiver Positional Analysis. This is what I do every year. This is my process. Again, you wonder what everybody else is doing out there. I don't know. This is what I like to do. I've been working on this since pretty much February, even January starting. So I've had a lot of time to go through this. There's so much material that I can't keep up with all of it. But I give you an opportunity to cherry pick through, see what hits your fancy, see if things are useful, keep your diary, make note of what worked for you, what didn't work for you. That's part of the whole process every year. See my lesson on diary, fantasy football diary, but I believe that is essential to your success is figuring out what you do best. And again, soar with your strengths, manage your weaknesses, and don't do it the other way around, right? If you keep losing in Dynasty, I got 10 teams and I've never won in Dynasty. I think it's time to leave. If you've been doing years and it's not working, what are you doing? I mean, Dynasty's not for you. I got my partner D Mike to take over my one Dynasty I've been in for about 7 years, and closest I've got is like fifth, fourth. Pretty sad, just kind of running in place, and it's sad, and I'm tired of it. I do good in redraft, do okay in best ball, probably get too crazy in best ball, especially early on, and I'm in the middle of best ball season right now. Come check out my material on best ball. Anyway, here we go. Let's finish this up. This is the last lesson for wide receivers. So now you should go and hit all the positions a couple more times. Go through this, chop the wood, get a little bit of fire, see what happens for you. Okay, so just for curiosity's sake, I looked over a period of time. This could be the whole, I don't know if it's 2000 to 2022. Anyway, I looked at wide receivers that had been in the league first year versus 10 years. Kind of see the increase over time, and that's probably predicted. But again, this is every wide receiver, right? This is not the elite. This is not the number one off the board for, et cetera, et cetera. This is not the Jefferson. This is everybody. Okay. This is reference class forecasting. What about the group? So rookies, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. And this data over 23 years, looks like we're getting some type of overall peak in the box here. That's 66% of the population is the highest to year 8. If you look at the top, though, and the top being these outliers here, it really comes down to was it 5? So 5, 6, those years are the top of the top. That's the top of the whiskers. Okay, so that is the best of the best. And you can see that 6 years is the top. So that's about what, the first contract. So that pretty much tells you, again, this is overall, that, and that kind of is confused by some of the concept of the breakout season, whatever that means, depends on the definition. But I'm looking at the whole population. I think it's important to have a foundation. So that's why I do this. So this data says 5 to 6 years is kind of those peak of the peak of those top of the top. So, really, if you throw that one figure out right here, it is 3 years, right? So you hear that all the time, right? The top of the top is about the same. And it stays about the same to about, what is that, year 6, and then you get a decline, kind of a bounce back, and then a decline again. So I give you kind of the group average, median there, and the top tier, and what are they doing. So I try to draw the lines to at least nudge you to see the data. But if you throw that one point out, I mean, you're getting a really interesting, 3-year kind of deal. And so overall, that's where the data has come from. But people are looking at this rarefied group here. And I don't think that holds with the complete population. You see, here's the box is a complete population. And that really doesn't peak until year 8. The ones that survive. Remember, the numbers are going down, right? They're leaving the league, getting injured. So the numbers are going down even as we're tracking each population. So if you look, the numbers would be going this way, going down. So you got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Anyway, let's look at this. I looked at 10 years. I asked the question, is there a statistical difference? I used the analysis of variance. You produce the old F-stat. You get the p-value. That means what's the odds that there is a difference, but you're going to miss it. Basically, it's random, and pretty much is less than 5%, much less, right? It's almost nearly impossible, 10 to the minus 16. So there is a difference in the data. And if you look at the data, what this is showing is, if you think of the groups, right? So A, B, C, D. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This says that rookies are definitely going to be lower than year 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But rookies as a group, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, they're not different in the overall population. Year 2 are not different in the F group. So if you look here, you can number this A, B, C, D, E, F. So F is, what's that, year 6. So here's year 6. So second years are definitely lower, year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, this is the last 23 years there. Okay. And you could look, year 3 is not any different, year 4 and 5, but they are different, lower than 6. Okay. And you can go through here. So basically, you're saying, year 4 is not much different than year 5, but they're clearly different than year 6, lower. So statistically, that year 6 is starting to be that break point era there where you're getting differences, statistically significant as a population. We're not talking the top 10 wide receivers. I'm looking at the complete population here. Some people can get bamboozled by that. Don't be. Okay, so kind of get an idea that overall the group is really peaking year 6, but the elites maybe year 3, 4. We showed you that graph. Okay, so the question to me, and I think last year I did some prediction, year 1 wide receiver, so they're rookie, they were greater than 140, but they failed in year 2. Okay, so they did not live up to their standards. Something happened, maybe injury, whatever, versus they hit 140 year 1 and year 2 was successful. So I asked the question, what did these two populations look like year 3? And lo and behold, there was a difference. And the ones here that failed year 2 were lower than the ones, obviously, that were great year 1 and 2. So that, I know it seems, and that's common sense, but this is statistical analysis. Supports what you would think. So you won't be tricked here, common sense. So I went further. Group A are wide receivers with year 2 success, but they failed year 1. So they peaked year 2 versus year 1. Group B are year 1, but they failed year 2. So we have year 1 failure, year 2 failure. Or Group C are the ones that were both successful year 1 and 2. So if you look at the overall mean right here, this is 203, the ones that were successful. So going into your so-called third year breakout, these guys have hit above, 100 as a group. Now this is as a group. And we asked the question, was there a difference? So A is this group, year 1 failure, but year 2, what did they look like year 3? They were not any different. A versus B, not significant. So A and B, doesn't matter if they were year 1 failures or year 2, they were the same, even though there is a difference, 180 versus 130. I understand it seems like there should be a difference. There's not enough values here, right? 15 versus 10. So I just need more data. 65 wide receivers were in Group 3. And what we see is year 2 success, but year 1 failures can be forgiven because they're not any different than the year 1 and 2 success. So being successful year 2, ignoring year 1 is okay. But if you had a year 2 failure, that's a problem. If you're looking at comparing ones that were successful year 1 and 2. So it's telling you to be cautious. Not many, 10 out of 90, right? So 1 out of 9. But be cautious. So you would want to lower your ADP drafting level there. Not many that hit that. But having a year 2 failure that were good, so they flashed year 1, but didn't do well year 2. You see, in Dynasty, I would think people would say, oh, well, that's a bargain. Maybe not, folks. You're hearing it here first. You may be tricked. So just be aware. That's really interesting here. So some more predictions. Here is year 2 hitting above 176. So that was my level. Notice year 1 was 140. Year 2, 176. So if you can, so I'm ignoring year 1 completely, just throwing it out. Who gave me year 2 176 fantasy points, and then their years 3 to 7, and we can see that there was a little bit of decline, but overall the population's pretty steady, actually. So it's telling you if you can hit a 176 year 2, you're probably pretty good going out to year 7 even. So if I'm a dynasty player, there's who I'm investing in. If you're below 176 but above, say, 100, you're pretty steady, but notice you never hit the 200. See here, all years were pretty much about half, well, probably 40% were above 200. Here, nobody of the main group were above. So you're getting what you're getting here. People would think, oh, well, they're going to, 3-year breakout. Is there a 3-year breakout? This would say, yeah, there's a 3-year breakout year 4 break. I mean, yeah, if you hit year 2, but if you didn't, there's no 3-year break. It's not like this box is up here, folks. This box, nope. So you're getting tricked by the old breakout mantra there. See, when people make these proclamations, what are they talking about? How many wide receivers are we really claiming are that? I'm warning you now that it's not true. That if you're in this group, there's no 3-year breakout. At least this is what the data suggests. So year 1 success, group 1 success year 2, and above average year 3. And this is looking at year 4. So here's what that looks like. Big population, but there's some here. Year 2 success, above 176, but they failed year 3, rut-row. In year 4, they didn't come back. And then group 3 right here, they were successful year 2 and 3. Okay, so if there is extreme failure, this is probably below 100. They were really good year 2, but failed year 3, and that would have been below 100 here. Year 4, this is year 4, folks. They're not coming back. Okay, so they're your hot potato. They were a thing. They failed. You can sell it in Dynasty. Well, they're going to bounce back. This data says be cautious on this bounce back talk. Okay, you could trick folks in Dynasty. So you're saying, why do you do this data, Dr. Bush? Why do you work months and months for this figure right here? Okay, this is gold, folks, especially in Dynasty. So wake the F up, folks. If the site you're paying money for is not putting you on to this kind of stuff, they're not earning their pay. Hey, it is what it is. And let's see, I forgot what my next thing was. Oh, okay. So here's the data for year 4 data, and looking previously coming in, year 4. Group A is 134. Group B, they failed year 3, is 87. Group C is they hit both 140 and 176. So their year 4 is 196. And what we could say is that A is not different than B. So, if they failed or were above average, year 3 even, it looks a little higher, but statistically, it's all about C being successful year 2 and 3. And they were statistically different in year 4 than the other 2 groups. Man. So even the group A might be trickleful. And that's not a word. I just like to say it. Trickleful for you in Dynasty. But you definitely do not want any bite of the Group B wide receivers. So this is my finished journey here. I didn't get too deep into this. You're saying, wow, what's deep? Folks, this is as far as I think we need to go now. When we're playing each other's AI bots, then I'll have to get deeper because I'll have to beat the bots. But right now, I just have to beat the folks. And we all have foibles and biases, cognitive biases. This is gold here, this figure here. People don't even know how good it is. A lot of good stuff here, folks. Thanks for listening. I'm currently working on ADPs and the positions, and I'll move on to other lessons down the road, probably targets and attempts and things, probably in June, whatnot. So I'll be doing other stuff. Going to be following best ball stuff next month or so, and getting ready to do some redrafts here. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed these lessons. I'll do this again next year. The few that are listening, we'll update you. We'll try to maybe push the envelope a little bit. ESPN, y'all need to hire me. I'll direct the pro. I got the questions. You got the AI and all the the data analysis folks. I'll put them to work. Okay? I will put your folks to work and get them on the right path. Come on. What are y'all doing up there? I don't know what you're doing. If you're going to charge people money, you might as well have good questions to answer. I don't know what you're doing, folks. Anyway, good luck. Thanks for listening to all my lessons in the positional analysis. Woo-woo. Is this fun or what?